Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another Maniacs Podcast. Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. This is going to be episode like 229, man. Task 229 episodes. And what do we got to show for it, man? Love.
We enlightened the world, didn't we?
Yeah. I,
I don't know. It's when we're on our deathbeds, we'll look back and say, we did 5,842 Cryptomaniac podcasts, and that accomplished nothing. But oh well. No, I think we're bringing the Hive community together, and I think we provide some entertainment and information, and we have good interviews when we get people on. I think we are a top notch quality programming for the family, except when we mention feed. But outside of that, it's quality family programming.
Top quality family entertainment. Hello, Tokenized. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
I mean, look, we got people who show up all the time. Tokenized, Lisa, Jimmy. So either these people really respect what they do, or they need psychological treatment and probably heavy medication. Well, except for Tokenized, he's already heavily medicated because he's probably been drinking since 3 this afternoon. But anyway, leaving him aside.
Yes. So how you doing, man? You had a good weekend? You playing the markets or what?
I had a great day. Great great Cryptomaniacs. Great AMA podcast. A lot of good stuff going on with Leo. And so, yeah, it's a good thing. Exciting time.
We had a little bit of fun in the CTP Discord that transitioned into threads yesterday. Me and my good buddy Rich, Crazy Cowboy, we were sitting there talking in the Discord, and we kind of just had this epiphany, like why are we talking here? Like, what does this do? This does nothing for anybody. I got an idea. Let's go to threads. And it was a pretty healthy convo, lots of engagement. And that was the name of the game, the engagement. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I get a little bit of crypto here and there, but that's cool and all. But the engagement was just second to none. It was great.
Yeah.
So,
and
preaching to the choir here, obviously, you know.
Yeah. We've discussed this in the past, something about using Web3 and just not talking about it on Web2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I did ask Cal on the AMA today, when is he going to shut down the Leo Discord general section and force those people on to threads? Yes. And of course he said soon, but then never. He's not going to do it. He said, I'd love for them to be on threads, but again, it's the mindset. It's like, okay, obviously you can't have a private conversation. There's certain things, you're not going to put on threads. But like what you and what you did yesterday, you just opened up a thread and just started commenting it under it, and other people joined in and made fun of you. Oh wait, that was me. But some people, I mean, I had some conversations with him too, and we were talking about branding and stuff like that, and that's how it happens. Obviously, you wouldn't want to be talking about extremely personal stuff and my checking account's down to $49 and I got this $700 bill and this and that, and the wife's cheating on me and the kids don't like me, and my father-in-law has put a hit out on me with the local mafia. I mean, okay, so some of that stuff, maybe keep it to yourself and talk offline about.
Yes, but, please. Yes.
I mean, it's most of the shit in the general section of a Discord. You can get answers even quicker on threads. I mean, when I see a question, I always try to answer it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Well, especially if you're getting tagged in it, right?
What?
Especially if you're getting tagged in it, it's in your notifications. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm tagged, obviously that's a direct question. But like
Right.
when somebody says something about something,
Random. Right.
yeah, it was like, and in fact, this is a way to talk about generating clicks. I wrote up the other day a Leo glossary post about thread storms. What's a thread storm? How do you do it, et cetera, et cetera. And yesterday there were two people I dropped the link to. One didn't ask, but the other person asked, and I said, okay, this is how you do it, and here it is. And I dropped the link. And they're like, oh, okay, thanks. These are things where it creates engagement, it creates clicks, it helps keep people on the site. It's really not a real deep process here we're dealing with. It's
Right.
rather simple, but it totally eclipses people. But that's okay. Leo's going to be wildly successful in spite of what the Lions are doing, because Eric, a Nomad Soul, is doing wonderful work, and
Yes.
there's now a renewed focus. The scope of Leo is opening up, and there's now communities on the site. It reads the Hive communities, so they can set up their own moderators and all this stuff on Leo Finance, the same as they can do through any front end. And we're just seeing a lot of changes, and it's all with the idea of bringing in more traffic, having more features on the app, and I'm glad to see it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Do you want to dive into the Threadcast now, or do you got anything you want to rant about? Okay, let's dive in. Taskmaster's Threadcast. So I see you used my image. You just didn't put it into the thread.
I forgot. Leave me alone. It's going to take me a few weeks to figure this out, but it's there for everybody to see.
Right. You could edit your threads. I know you can't edit your posts, but
is the edit button working? I don't remember if it was.
I thought
the last time I tried it, it didn't work, but maybe.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's the thought that counts, man.
It's there. See, you see the Threadcast, you see the nice placard, and by the way, John made that, not me. So that's why he's like busting my chops about, because he wants everybody to know his artistic. He not only has massive and incredible technical skills, he has incredible artistic and graphic artist skills.
Thanks to Canva. There's a reason why, though. This images in social media or videos or any media you can put increases engagement. So, very important note. If you're doing a podcast or a Threadcast, stick an image in. See the results.
That's a good point. You should see the image I stuck in the AMA Threadcast. Cal immediately responded with NSFW.
Yes, perfect. Let's move on. First up, Sad Cry wanted to know what time it is, and you answered him, and you said 8 p.m. Eastern. So, Sad Cry, if you're not here, shame.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have an excuse. The Europeans, it's like, okay, they're
Yeah, he's in Toronto. Like, it's the same New York City time.
Is he in Eastern time? He's in
Eastern time. Yeah, Toronto.
So he's in the same damn time zone as I am.
As you. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
He's got no excuse.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He'll say the traffic was bad.
Other than being Canadian, which, okay, that's part of it, but.
That is, yes. Crazy Cowboy said in Vim, you have $49 in the bank, float me a loan. Perfect. Thank you, Rich.
to cover his overdraft fees.
Dude, I don't know, like, before we got online, I talked about my dog on the weekend. She destroyed her foot, and okay, Task was here, now he's not. His video is off. Maybe he was going to get something. There he is. Yeah, so my dog destroyed her foot, and I took her to the vet on Sunday. Of course, Sunday, the vets are closed, so you have to pay the premium for emergency services. Dude, I have nothing left, man. Like, have you ever taken your pet to the vet? It's insanity.
Yes. Well, it's been over over 11 years since I had a pet. But yeah,
Mm.
it's not cheap.
No, and they know you're going to pay it.
Well,
Like,
you have no
oh yeah,
choice,
well,
especially when you show up on a Sunday with a dog
bleeding
with a
dog or arms hanging off.
yeah.
Like,
It's like
yeah,
okay, the down payment on the Mercedes coming up
yeah,
here.
yeah. There goes the mortgage this
Yeah.
month. Unbelievable. Anyways, yes, float me a loan, Rich, if you have $49. There you go. Perfect. The show is at 8 p.m. Eastern. Task said that. By Lucio. Lucio?
Yeah.
Lucio? Lucio. Hopefully I will catch the recap. Hope you enjoy it. Nifty's up. Any thoughts on Reddit? I was following Marky's updates on Reddit last night. It was quite comical. But anyways, Nifty says, any thoughts on Reddit's blackout protest? 90% of subreddits went dark in protest of API fees. Reddit flipped them back on, and now the community is only posting porn to kill their advertising revenue.
Yeah, I don't follow that stuff enough. I mean, I used to, go to one Reddit just to read. I haven't posted on Reddit in I don't even know how long, years.
I've never posted on Reddit.
But yeah, I saw Marky's stuff, and of course Marky follows all this stuff.
Yeah,
really close.
I'm sure he got a kick out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, first thought is, well, they're taking a page out of Bernie's book.
Yeah, I know. That's a Bernie thing, man. Jeez.
But yeah, I guess Reddit's advertising, which makes sense. The advertisers aren't going to pay for porn pics, so you have to separate it out. And of course, I guess these subreddits aren't separated out because, up to 3 days ago, they were talking about farming and plants and cats and whatever the hell the Reddit was, but now they're just posting all these porn pics, and the advertisers are probably just saying no. So it's interesting. I don't know what the ultimate outcome will be and what the ultimate protest is about, other than API fees going up to who?
Yeah, right.
I mean, the Redditors aren't charged that, so I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff to really know what they're even protesting, but it's funny. And, it just shows that's something that could end that site when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how temperamental this stuff is, because if this continues for a couple months, that could kill Reddit, because, I don't know what type of expenses they have. I don't know what their business model is, but if they're dependent on that advertising, that's drying up because everybody's just posting porn and all of a sudden their advertisement dollars drop 80-90%. How long can you stay in business? And what's worse, if almost every category has just porn, well, as people go to that, unless they're looking for porn, if I'm going there looking for basket weaving and I just see porn pics,
yeah, you're not
I'm going to be turned off and go away, and I'm not going to go back after 2 or 3 tries. So this could have devastating effects when you think about it.
This is a, and I know we always like talking Web3 and, what we have on Hive and decentralization, this, that, and a third, but this is not, and it's interesting that Rich is in the audience on Vim, because he'll remember all these horror stories. This has been going on for years online, where ownership does not respect the wishes and does not value, I guess, the input of the community, and the community rebels. And I've seen it for decades, and it never, ever works out in favor of the owners of that company. Ever. When you forget the people, you get screwed.
Well, because if you understand the digital world, it's all the network effect that makes you. And if you start reversing it, it just snowballs away from you.
Right.
And, we're seeing the power. I mean, think of this. Wall Street Bets a couple years ago with GameStop, Silicon Valley Bank. Now you see Reddit. The ability to mobilize online, and in big numbers. It's amazing these days. And so when you see something like Reddit, which, okay, it's not Twitter, it's not Facebook, it's not YouTube, but I mean, I think in terms of social media platforms, you have to say
It's up
Reddit's
there.
in the top five. I mean,
Oh, it's up there.
I would
It,
say,
it's a very niche thing, but the niche is huge.
well,
Like,
it's not
it's an
really
online forum, right? I
It's
mean,
not, but you look at the number of categories they have. It's just
right.
enormous. And so what would you say? You got the big three. Then I would say TikTok is probably up there, and then after that you probably go Reddit, maybe a Pinterest. But they're certainly top 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, and they may get taken
Oh,
down.
for traffic too. I mean, traffic alone, they're astronomical.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they may get taken down by this, and that just shows how if you think these things are safe and that these things, they're just too big, they won't go away.
Right.
You get the network effect going away from you, which we may be witnessing with Reddit. Forget it.
Yeah. It's a big nugget for people setting up communities. Don't ever forget about them. Speaking of fearless leaders of communities, we got Cal. Cal came with a bunch of questions. He's got one right here, though. Coordination or coincidence? What happened with crypto companies and what's now emerging out of TradeFi like BlackRock? Is it coordination or coincidence, in your opinion, sir?
I would say it's coordination. I up till a few weeks ago, John, I thought Gary Gensler wanted to destroy crypto. And a couple of weeks ago, it made sense. He doesn't want to destroy it. He wants to put it in the hands of Wall Street. And so I made a couple of videos about that. And sure enough, what you have is a week or whatever it was after he went back, after Coinbase and Binance and sued them, you have BlackRock wanting to open up a Bitcoin spot ETF, which there's been a number of applications turned down by the SEC. Now, not saying that BlackRock's going to get approval. Don't forget, they have not been approved for this. They just applied. But in the history of the company, BlackRock's been turned down on an ETF once.
Right.
Only once. And if they get it, then that opens the door for everybody else. They have to approve these other entities. Another thing that's come up is suddenly a couple Wall Street firms announced, which is no great surprise because we knew 5 years ago they were working on this. They have their custodian services ready. Mm-hmm. So what that means is if they start to get approval to get into this arena, they can start to operate as a brokerage firm for your crypto. And then don't be surprised if they start getting into centralized trading and all this other shit. So I firmly believe that it's coordinated. Maybe, it's the chicken or the egg. Did these Wall Street firms wait till Gensler made his move? Who knows what came first, but this is not, none of this stuff's operating in a vacuum, if you ask me. And I don't believe it's necessarily conspiracy theory. I think this is just how these people operate. Regulators protect the incumbents in any industry. And it's not only the SEC in the United States, it's the FDA. It's all.
Yeah, it's George Carlin always said, it's a big club and you're not in it.
Yeah. Well, Coinbase isn't in it. Binance.
Apparently. Yes, I saw that. Poor Coinbase. Do we feel for Coinbase or no?
I think Coinbase provides a decent service. I mean, let's make no mistake. I mean, they're not far removed from this either. So it's not like they're carrying forward the tenets of crypto either. I mean, they are a publicly traded company. They are a Wall Street firm. They're not a established Wall Street institution like a JP Morgan, a Goldman, or any of these others. But they're not MetaMask or whatever. I mean, this is it's a centralized exchange. So Brian Armstrong can talk all he wants about the tenets of the industry. He's not really exclusively for crypto people and crypto values.
Yep. True. Cal has a little bit of well, for you, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to answer this better than I will, but you'll understand in a second. He says, what's your favorite thing happening in crypto right now? And underneath that, he put a little caveat, not Hive related, to make us squirm a little.
Is there anything happening that's not Hive related?
In my life, no. I mean, and I'm not, this is not even me trying to sound cocky or anything like that. Like, by design, I've put my eggs in one big basket with multiple little baskets. And it's all Hive related. So I don't know anything that's out there that's going on. I read the news. I get the updates, the Leo, Daily Leo. I read the emails, see crypto Twitter. I'm not involved in anything else. And
what's his face? Who's a big YouTuber who was arrested in Romania? What the hell's his name? Andrew Tate.
Oh, yes.
He's facing charges, and evidently they're taking his crypto. So, but we don't know if that's a true story or not. I'll tell you, my answer to that is Gary Gensler. I think what's happening is, and follow my logic with this, he's pushing so hard and he's making it so obvious what they're doing. I don't want to say it'll backfire, but it's certainly going to wake up the industry, because what you had is you've had for years everybody talking about decentralization, but nothing's decentralized.
Right.
And so now they're getting attacked, and it's like, well, if you were decentralized, there's nothing they can do. So it's obvious you weren't decentralized. Yeah. And so I think what happens is when you see this stuff taking place, the incentive for liquidity pools, the incentive for DEXs, the incentive for development, the incentive for projects to make sure they do things to get out of the reach of the SEC, to operate these things like I've talked about, the way the Eurodollar system was formed, and have these things distributed, have multiple points of entry, eliminate these points of vulnerability, make yourself resilient. And you do that by distribution, decentralization, and in many ways, open source. Right. And that's where you go. And so I think all of this clamping down, yes, it's going to cause a lot of issues, but in the long run, it's waking people up and it's waking developers up who say, we need to go around this. We need to get further out. We need to, and so what do? You develop software, you open source it and throw it out there. You do it under a pseudonym. You get a lot of different people and working on the code, things of that nature.
Yeah. I mean, again, for me, I don't have anything. But Gary Gensler, if it's a good thing, I trust Task. So if Task says it's good, I'm all for it.
Don't get me wrong, it's painful. It's right. Not like this is without
but
pain.
It puts true decentralization in the spotlight.
It points out what's not decentralized, right. That's for sure. And then it makes you question everything else and look harder. And, of course, I'm echoing what Dan and Starkers of CTT have been talking about for years. But, you watch what's taking place, and they've been talking about it. They pointed to these changes. They pointed to these projects. And they said, listen, if you have this, you're done. You're screwed. You forget it. And exactly what's happening. They're done. They're screwed. Forget it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's, now it's time for Speak Network. Now it's time for Hive. Now it's time for side chains. Now it's time for distribution. Now it's time to make sure we got witness nodes and APIs that are all over the world and not all with one company, AWS, where they could shut everybody down. I mean, this is what we need to go for.
You asked yourself a question.
I know.
What does this mean? So what does this mean? Leo Finance S&R clubs.
I don't know. I actually sent a message. Eric, if you're listening to Nomad Soul, hit me up on Discord. Let's get you on air. I don't know what that is. It's a trading club. They kind of mentioned it on the AMA. This is one of the partnership agreements, I guess the first partnership agreement that Eric's been working on. And I don't know the details of it other than what's there. Somebody posted a copy of the tweet. I guess that's a tweet. So, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, they did talk about a trading club and that it's going to be opening up. And so, I mean, Lions can be involved in it, but these people, I think, are going to be a community on Leo Finance. And so they're going to be able to use Leo Finance as a community for their long form content, for blogging, microblogging, all that stuff.
But they still post it on Medium. God bless them.
Well, I don't know if this is set up yet.
No, it's good, man. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, Eric's been just crushing it with stuff, and this is some of the things he's been working on behind the scenes with attracting new communities to Leo. So pretty slick, man. Is he around? Did you get a hold of him or no?
Cal didn't respond. I just put out Eric must not be listening to the broadcast. So
okay.
If one of them hits me up by the end of the show, we'll try to get him on to explain it.
Perfect. Nifty said he'll be upvoting all the questions. Big shout out to Nifty. Cheers to you, sir, for your support. We appreciate you. We do. Bradley Arrow. We watch in the morning. Damn, cannot think of a cryptocurrency question. I know you can never spell my username right. Jog Olson. Forgot the N. I've got a Maple Leafs thong. What kind do you have, Task? That's information I really don't want to know. It's probably a New York Giants or New York Mets thong. That would be my guess.
I don't wear underwear.
Okay.
You asked.
Yeah. Well, Lisa.
Hey, you got let them breathe. You got to let the puppies breathe.
Hello, Captain Silva. Welcome.
John, it's like 95 degrees here. I know you're up in the tundra.
I'm in the tropics. Yeah, literally. It was like -2 today. Snow some places.
Yeah, you got snow going on. Icicles hanging from your
forest
beard.
fires last week. Now it's snowing here. And tornadoes like 2 weeks ago. I can't keep up, man. There you go, Bradley. That's your answer. Lisa wants to know, is my understanding correct that any thread I click on and upvote and comment on creates ad revenue? Now, you responded to this, but do you want to go over exactly what the process is for generating ad revenue?
Sure. Do you want me to explain what ad revenue is?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, for those who are listening who don't know, I'll give a quick run through. Leo Finance has ads. Like most platforms, the ads generate revenue. And there's a variety of factors that figure into the ads. Obviously, the biggest impact is actually clicking on the ads and people going through those websites that are being advertised. But they take in other factors, and I don't know exactly what the factors are that Google Ads and Coinzilla use. Those are two platforms that Leo Finance is using. But it takes website rank, time on page, time on site, clicks on page, all this other stuff. Yeah. And so one of the premium factors is number of clicks on a page, because that's traffic. And obviously, the longer people stay on the page, the better. But with something like Threads, people aren't going to sit there too long, because how long can you read a page? I mean, it's 240 characters. So this revenue is being generated, and unlike Facebook, unlike Twitter, which that goes to the shareholders of Facebook or to Elon Musk and his partners in Twitter, the ad revenue is going to be used to buy Leo on the market and distribute it to Leo power holders. So people who stake Leo are going to get it. Now, in terms of clicks, this is very simple. Anytime you click on a thread or a comment, that's a click. Anytime you go back to your homepage, to your wallet, to your profile, if you click through on a link to another thread or to a Leo Finance post, that is all clicks. And so the idea is through organic interaction engagement, you click on a thread, you comment on the thread. If somebody clicks on your comment and comments on that, like John and I were just talking about happened, what he set up yesterday, that increases the number of clicks. And that all leads to an increase in ad revenue. And you can see a rough guesstimate. It may not be exact, but a rough guesstimate. If you look at the counters next on the threads, these aren't on long form yet, but the counters are on the threads. Hover your cursor over it, and it'll say how much it generated. I don't know, John, can you hover over it on the Threadcast here? How much was generated in USD and in Leo? So for those who are watching, John will scroll up and
Do you see it?
I couldn't see it. You'll have
okay, so yeah, this thread. So far, this thread generated approximately 14 cents or 1.64 Leo in Leo ads revenue for the Leo smart contract buyback. So 75 views has generated 1.64 Leo that will be distributed to token holders. This Threadcaster has earned 33 cents or almost 4 Leo from this, and of course we have the curation too. So 50% goes to you, 50% goes to the curators. But this is the big one. This new analytics I absolutely love because you just want to see that counter go up. And here's a nugget, folks. When you see this go up, and I'm pointing here to the comment/engagement and the number, these always go up together. It's
well,
funny how that works.
Not necessarily, because if people reply out of notifications and aren't opening the thread, then that's out of notifications. But what happens is that then is a click for the actual comment that you're replying to. And so when you go down in the thread tree or the comment tree, you'll end up seeing the comments, and they'll have views tied to them. And so if there's a conversation, you can go down 6, 8, 10 comments, and all of a sudden each one of them has 1 or 2 views. And it all adds up. I mean, it's, at the end of the day, the goal is to get this to millions of views a day if we can.
Yeah. Beautiful thing, man. That's actually what me and Crazy Cowboy Rich were talking about in just before the show. Like, imagine if this had 10,000 active users a day. Yeah. And that's peanuts when it comes to social media stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Peanuts.
I mean, it's if you are 10,000 people online, you're not even like showing up to even be ranked, let alone ranked. I mean, they're not even putting your name on anything. So you need to get 50, 100,000 people. And but like you said, 10,000 doing 10 a day, there's 100,000 threads. You're going to be well over 1 million clicks.
Yeah, perfect. Let's hope that answers the question. So thank you for it. Let's scroll on down here to Tokenized Society. Hello, Maniacs. Hello, Mets fans. Do you think we will eventually start seeing stable coins pegged to something other than the U.S. dollar?
You could. I mean, if somebody brought out a stable coin pegged to the euro.
Right.
Don't know why. I mean, I understand why, but I mean, if you understand the dollar, if you understand the power of the dollar, if you understand what's happening in other currencies, how would you like it, Tokenized, if we had a stable coin pegged to the Brazilian, I think it's the real they use? Obviously, you wouldn't. I mean, it's the idea of a stable coin is to cater to follow something that has price stability, and the network effect on the US dollar is far and away bigger than anything else, deeper than anything else, more liquid than anything else. And the dollar is what kills developing markets. So people want to get it into dollar denominated assets. I mean, the last thing you want to do is get into stable coin that's tied to the yen, and the yen drops 10% against the dollar. I mean, that that goes counterintuitive to what you're trying to do in a global situation.
And he follows it up with hive inflation is programmed to decrease yearly until it reaches, if I'm not mistaken, 0.5%. Is that something that can be changed by the witnesses through a hard fork? Very good question. Look at
Yes, it could be, but
savvy questions.
Yeah, for a drunk guy, that's pretty impressive.
And a Mets fan too.
And he typed it with his butt because he got a new keyboard that I guess is, better than his chair. So we just said, butt type. But anyway, yes, you can do that through a hard fork, but you wouldn't want to, because if you start changing your inflation rate, there goes the confidence. Because now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we'll set the inflation rate to 15%. It's like, who's going to trust you? So, yes, it drops 0.25% every, I think, 250,000 blocks till it gets to 0.25 or 0.5, whatever it does. But don't forget, the inflation rate of Hive adjusts because of HBD. So you have another variable where if everybody's converting their HBD to Hive, the amount of Hive expands. But if they're going the other way, as Dow's reports have shown occasionally, we end up with deflationary Hive for a month or two. So, I think as more utility ends up in HBD, we're going to end up seeing a lot more Hive converted over.
There you go. Hey man, I've started back on my HBD journey, man. So I'm very happy about that. No one cares. I get it. Rich Taylor, this is Crazy Cowboy, and this is from someone who's been using Threads now for the past 24 hours, really poking around and getting a feel for it. He wants to know: is it possible to make the comments easier to follow in the UI?
That would be a programming issue, and I would like to see it more indented, like Discus does with their comment section. I think that would be better, but that would have to be a programming issue, and that's for Cal, and I don't know if it's on his list or what.
Yeah, it's like if you look here. Let me see if hopefully it shows. Like, okay, so we'll go here. This is the Threadcast, and Lisa, this is what's not in. It's a little difficult to understand this because it says see two other replies. When I click this, in every other social media, it'll open right up. It would tree right down, right?
Yeah.
This literally opens up a brand new window with the comments underneath it, and it now the thread is up here, but it's not. You can't read. You know what I mean? Like, does that make
sense?
You
gotta go back.
You got to go back, and so you go back. Now you're back here. So if this would just open up and tree down underneath it,
well, that would. Of course, the advantage is John just had 2 clicks there, going and coming back.
Well. But this is what and Free Compliments mentioned this later down, but he said one thing to keep in mind regarding the Threadcasts, this is per Cal, after someone refreshes 3 to 5 times, it doesn't count towards ad revenue. So if because I have to refresh this to see the new comments, that stuff won't count, which is right. That's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm refreshing this not to generate ad revenue. I'm refreshing this to find new comments so that we can answer them. Right. So I don't think it should be rewarded. And
I agree. And to be honest with you, ad revenue is secondary. Let's be honest. It has to be user friendly. It has to be what people want, and I agree with Cowboy on this 1,000%. I mean, if you click on that, they should open up right underneath so you can read them on the same page.
Right. Yeah.
That would make it a lot easier. And that way somebody could go through. You could see Lisa's thread. You could click on it, just show 2 more, show 6 more, whatever it is. And those open up. And, you can scroll down and say, okay, nothing interesting there, and on to the next thread.
Yeah.
So I agree with them 1,000% that should be how it is, some type of indentation, where it's all there, or at least the threads for the replies to that thread should all be shown up on that screen.
Yeah, for sure. Tokenize says, I think we need to popularize threads as a chat tool. Yeah, this is okay. Like, I'm going to try not to rant too much, but this is something Task and I have been talking about here for years. Like, this is going to be episode 229, and I'm probably willing to bet 30% of the content that we've put out over the past 3 years, you're going to hear this speech from us. Hive people, as a rule, in general, seem allergic to actually using this stuff day in and day out. They'll go make their post. That's about it. They'll share that post on Twitter. They'll live on Twitter. They'll live on Discord. But for whatever reason, Hive is allergic. And I'm talking Hive as a whole here. The majority of Hive just doesn't seem to use this stuff as much as we should be, if that makes any sense. So I think so, Tokenized. I completely agree with you. I know Tass does. He's gone on rampages about this. This goes back to imagine if we had 10,000 people using this every day. Imagine. And we have 10,000 people on Hive. Maybe not simultaneously, but there's 10,000 people that are active over the past 30 days or something. Let's use this stuff. But I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, like, did you just see the recent, this is brand new, breaking news from Cal. He just put it on Threads that there's a Hive UI that is apparently doing a DDoS attack or something on Threads because they're not happy about communities being added to Threads today. Like, what the WTF is going on? I'm telling you, man, Hive is we are our own worst enemy, man. Anyways, that's my speech.
Without a doubt. It's, and communities is something that was, I believe, created at the base layer, right? And then Peak D picked up on it and incorporated it into their application. I don't think Hiveblog has community. Like, maybe Hiveblog has communities in it. I don't know, and I certainly don't know about Ecency, but it's this is the foolishness that you have.
It's mind blowing to me. We are literally our own worst enemy, man. Like, we could. This is the thing. This is, we need crypto influencers to support Hive. We need people talking.
No,
about
you don't.
Hive.
You need to take care of your own house first.
Exactly.
Just clean your side of the street.
Exactly. Paz says that the Maniacs talk like an old married couple. Damn, dude. Really? Ouch.
I'll take his word on it. I've never been married, so he'll have to know.
I give free compliments, friend of the show. Every time I upload a photograph of my big lawn like a little cup. This is highly inaccurate despite the ladies' insistence. Wow.
I don't know. That we may have to wait for the NSFW tag on that.
Like,
we don't know where. I don't know where to go. I could go with that one, and Nifty would laugh, but we'll I don't know if you think you have a big lion and the ladies think it's a cub. That's not what they're looking for. I can't answer that. Can't help you there. It's like I don't know. It's Try
Like,
turning the charm on is all I could say, or something.
I don't know how you're going to answer this, but let me read this second part of the question. How do I make my little cub appear like the big lion it is? Like, come on.
Oh,
Come
man.
on, man. That's too easy.
John, this has to be a setup. This has to
Gotta
be
be.
a setup.
It's like you trolling me yesterday on Threads. Like, I still don't know what the hell you were doing. You were tagging me I had 50 tags when I got home. I was like, well, why am I being tagged so much?
And that's because nobody followed. I wanted like everybody to tag you, and like you get 150 or 200 tags when you got home from work. Plus, you got home early, so I think if he's being serious, well, I think we're being trolled on that one. I think.
I love it. I think that's really it. I think there's just some comments from people. I think that's it. Inside of Vim, we have Captain Silva saying he's not allergic; it's just hard for him to learn it. No worries, man. I mean, dude, this is the thing. I'm not saying this stuff to say like, oh, the people that aren't using this are slowing it up for us all. No, that's not it. I'm saying that we as a whole, Hive community, if we want to be products of our product, do it. Like, I mean, you got to go at your own pace. Now, a lot of the people from CTP, I get it. Like they're brand new to this crypto stuff and the Hive stuff, so they're being slowly brought along. Totally understand. But Hive as a whole, for whatever reason, just they just don't, like, you have your little tribes everywhere and no one supports each other. They'll say they do on paper, but like, I want everyone on Hive to win. I know Tass does too. And the way that happens is that we use this stuff consistently. So there you go.
Yep.
Let me double check. Yeah, no, that's I think that's it from the questions. Pretty sure. Anyways, I'll double check next couple of minutes, see if there's anything else that comes in. But appreciate everyone hanging out, man. Anything you want to touch on specific before we graciously bid adieu until Thursday?
Well, Paz said, "What? Who's attacking?" I don't have the answer to that. John just read what Cal posted. That's all.
This is what Cal put. Yeah.
What you are not touching a stable coin pegged to the Brazilian real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just using that as a case in point, tokenized. I don't think you want that. Obviously, you are a lot more familiar with the real than I am. So, yeah. I mean, it's wild times. Wild times. It's why you would DDS Leo. I mean,
I'm sorry. I see. It's weird. It's caching, so I'm not seeing this. I just refreshed on another UI and I see your question. Free Compliments actually had a question instead of the big lion little cub stuff. Destruction of centralized exchanges and entities may foster the growth of decentralized ones. However, having this happen now may hinder the crypto industry's growth. Do you think there is an ideal time for such destruction to happen?
Well, I don't think it's destruction. I think it's shifting, because I think you will end up seeing Wall Street firms allowed to offer crypto for fiat to customers. That's what a custodian is. They have the ability to hold the crypto. So somebody will go on to their, JP Morgan account or their Goldman Sachs account or their BlackRock account or their TD Ameritrade account or whatever, and they'll be able to get this stuff. and there will be some exchange that handles it, and probably not Coinbase. It will be somebody they ordain. So that gets it back in the hands of Wall Street, just like everything else, just like when you go buy stocks, just like when you buy, I mean, commodities are through the market, which in Chicago, but you get the point. Wall Street being the existing financial system, not newcomers, Johnny come lately type entity. So I think that's what's happening. And to do that, they went out and destroyed the existing, or attempted to destroy the existing exchanges. What caused FTX? Who was behind that? I mean, we'll never know. Now they're going after Coinbase. They pushed Binance offshore. They pushed somebody else, Bittrex or somebody else was in the U.S. They picked up and left. Yeah. Somebody left Canada because it's same shit's going on up there.
Binance left Canada.
I thought there was somebody else left Canada too. But anyway, that's I think this is coordinated, like the answer to Cal's question, and pushing that into
agreed.
The traditional finances hands.
I'm talking to Captain Silva right now in Vim, and this was actually one of the things that I brought up in my post that I did yesterday. It was spur of the moment. Me and Crazy Cowboy were going back and forth, and I just came up with 5 things that
I read the post, yeah.
Thinking about just out loud about Threads. One of the things was the branding issue, and this is exactly what we're seeing. Captain Silva and I'm going to read what he said in Vim. He's like, I'm confused about the Threads thing. I tried it on Leo. That's where to do it, right? This is the problem, because we're telling people to go use Threads, but we're sending them to Leo Finance. It's completely confusing. It's not intuitive. Now I understand why we want to keep it all under one roof. Totally get it. It should have its own domain, Leo Threads or something. Call it Threads. Whatever it is, it should be its own thing. Be under the Leo umbrella for sure. Absolutely. I don't want another token. I love the Leo token. I think it's absolutely brilliant the way it is. I understand why they were doing it, but I think it's going to add a lot of confusion for people when you're telling them go to Threads and they're like, where's Threads? Oh, it's at Leo Finance. What? It's just a branding thing. It's going to confuse people. And we just saw an example of it in Vim right now. So that would be the only thing I would love to see with Threads, would be to somehow, and I know it's not really on the agenda, but somehow,
considering you're bringing it up during the DDoS attack, it's not on the top of the list.
Yeah.
DDoS attack is a little bit more important.
Yeah.
No, and it does, like you said, it does expose underlying issues within the ecosystem.
Yeah. It's but overall, I mean, this was the point of my post yesterday, was just that we have so many good things being built here. This is not a secret that Leo Ads is going to kick in, just like it was not a secret that Splinterlands was going to be doing SPS. And the way that you built your SPS for that year of the airdrop was to have more assets, was to buy cards. Leo has crystal clear. It's been crystal clear for months now. This is what's happening. We see it. The smart contract still hasn't been implemented. It still has not launched. We have still not got a single payout from this. We know it's coming. We see it building. There's so many reasons to be bullish on Leo right now, and so many reasons to see the potential of what Threads can bring. It's not a secret. That's the big takeaway for me last night with my post, was that there's so many things being built here. It's awesome. Yes, I'm biased. I think Task is too.
Well, yeah. I mean, you start to get into the potentiality of things, and the numbers don't have to be overly impressive. I mean, Leo Threads doesn't need 1.5 million people on. Doesn't need that. I mean, if it gets it, great. But if it doesn't need that to be highly successful. I mean, 10,000 users daily, which I can't even think of anything online that would compare with. And if I could, nobody know it. I mean, nobody would know its name if we threw it out, because you're a nothing. You're non-existent. And just think of what 10,000 users would do in terms of threads. Think of what 10,000 daily users would do in terms of clicks. Think of what 10,000 users would do in terms of ad revenue. And then on top of that, you add in all that into buying the token. What does it do to the price of the token? Then what kind of FOMO do you set up? Then what happens when you start adding in different communities? What happens when you start growing and you start doing different things? So, I mean,
we're this big right now. We're little cub right now.
Yeah, we're a little cub. I mean, there's Eric would have the numbers, but you're probably looking at 200 maybe daily active users, maybe 300. Okay, let's call it 300.
10x that. What does that do?
Well, I was going to say you got a 30x it, but yeah, even a 10x. If you had 3,000 daily, then you're looking at something different.
Guys, it is a perfect time to get involved in this blockchain. Yes, I'm biased. And no, I don't get any financial benefit for saying that Hive is awesome and Leo is awesome. I mean, if you want to send me some of that $49 fee that you were talking about earlier.
No, that was the balance in my bank account, not the fee.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, $49 gets you a lot of Leo right now, man. I mean,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Not less than it got you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you on Thursday. We'll have another Threadcast rocking. Your questions make this show so much fun, and we appreciate you. So we will see you in a couple of days. Be good to each other and have fun.